and welcome to the Sounding Board with me, Shereen Bhan. We're here in Pune at the Bharat Forge facility with Baba Kalyani and Amit Kalyani. It is a big day, not just for the company, but for the two gentlemen here as well who joined me on the program. Happy birthday, a very happy 75th birthday to you, Mr. Kalyani, and we wish you the very best of luck as you go forward. But 52 of the 75 you've spent here.
Right.
As you reminisce about the transformation that's taken place, what would you consider as the biggest milestone in the journey so far?
I think the first biggest milestone was setting up our automated press forging in 1989, 1990, just as India was getting liberalized, when Manmohan Singh liberalized the government under Narasimha Rao as Prime Minister. And that gave us an opportunity to look at things differently. So we decided that we will convert our plant that used a lot of muscle power to go to brain power. I think that was the biggest inflection point in the history of this company.
So today you consider Bharat Forge to be a technology company or a company driven by technology?
It's a company driven by technology and innovation. And that's the reason why we can do so many things that we never thought possible. I mean, who would have thought possible even 10 years from today, 10 years ago, that we would make artillery guns and export them?
Well, that's been a significant transformation journey. But what I want to understand from you is the pace of acceleration that you've seen. And I know you said previously that the last 10 years have perhaps been the busiest that you've seen in your career. It took you 45 years to get to 10,000 crores, 20,000 crores next year, or
after next.
Year after next. On track to get to that?
Yes. Very much.
Amit, let's talk about this transformation as well. 5 growth engines that you're focusing on. From a forging company today, a company that is in defense, a company that is in aerospace, a company that hopes to consolidate its position in mobility as well. Yeah. What are you most confident about? Which of these plays do you believe could be the pivot for the future as you look at 20,000 and beyond?
See, Bharat Forge will pivot in multiple different facets. As my father mentioned, we're a technology company and we have developed our own technology in-house. So we have the ability to deploy this technology globally for all the products that we make. I think the first one to pivot is going to be our defense business, which is now already scaling up and is already gaining global business and markets. That will continue to grow and will become a very large growth driver. The industrial business, which will be driven both by outsourcing from abroad as well as the infrastructure demand and growth in India, will be the second one to pivot. The third will be aerospace, where we have made very significant investments and very significant progress. That business has been growing at close to 100% for the last 2.5, 3 years, and will grow very fast and will be a 4-figure crore business in the next 3 to 4 years. And then the e-mobility business, where we have a play right from low voltage 48 to 96 volts all the way to high voltage commercial vehicles, and the key building blocks that go into that, including power electronics, control electronics, motors, and the whole intelligence to weave that together into a product and solution.
Embedded software.
And through embedded software is really going to be the play for e-mobility. I think e-mobility has seen a huge gold rush, but you're also seeing a lot of pullback because people realize that in e-mobility today, the whole world is largely dependent on China for certain key technologies. And as and when alternatives get developed, either locationally or technologically, you will see a further acceleration of this process.
A lot to pack in there, but let me pick up on the defense aspiration, because this is a big bet that you made, and this was a bet that many people thought would not pay off for you, but you were very clear when you made this bet that no one was going to part with their technology, and hence you would have to do it here, you would have to do it in-house.
Absolutely.
Where do you see this defense business over the next 5 years?
See, if you look at our defense business, when we started it in 2012, a little before Prime Minister Modi took the reins of this country, Of course, with his whole Make in India initiative, whole Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative, this has just accelerated the whole process. But when we started, we were looking at it as a business that has metallurgical components, forging as the base. We never even thought at that time that we would be doing electronics, we would be building control computers, we will be writing embedded software, we will be putting AI into our systems. We never even thought about it. But as we progressed, we realized that we could do it. And we just put a team together, and today our gun, the entire electronic system, the entire embedded software, the gun control computer, is the most modern artillery gun in the world today. Everything is made by us, made here, proprietary technology, and that has given us
a serious exporter in the artillery gun segment?
Exactly. We are exporting now close to 100 guns a year.
And what do you believe that number is likely to be?
Well, you know, military hardware goes like a seesaw. I mean, right now you see so many conflict points around the globe, so the demand is very high. We are exporting guns, we are exporting ammunition, we are exporting a lot of other things too.
Armored vehicles.
Armored vehicles, that's a third area. Our own armored vehicles which we have made. Of course, the Indian Army was the first customer for our armored vehicles. When the Galwan crisis took place, they couldn't find a vehicle that will go to 20,000 feet. So our Kalyani M4 was the only vehicle that went there and also could go in the cut salt pans.
Right. So what is this going to translate into in terms of the kind of investments that you will make on the defense side of the business? And, you know, what is the aspiration for the order book, both domestic and export?
So I think on the defense side, it's very clear that we have chosen to play in 2-3 areas. One is the artillery side, the specialty vehicle side. These are two verticals where we want to be a global force to reckon with. And that means that both these businesses will be several $100 million a year, maybe even more. And if you take into account the overall life cycle management of these products, if you look at the whole MRO for these products, that whole thing is a over $1 billion opportunity per year. Coupled with that, we are looking at opportunities in unmanned systems, both for sea, air and land, and multiple other platforms which are required in India over the next 10 to 15 years. All this is a very large playing field, and investments will happen first in product development, engineering, and creating the prototypes and fielding the products, and then in commercializing them.
What has been the R&D trend in terms of percentage of sales, since the time that you decided that this is going to be a technology-driven company? How has that graph changed, and how do you see that changing going forward?
In defense, from 2010 till 2022, we had no sales except armored vehicles that we sold, a few of them. So all our expenditure has been R&D, developing products. Even today as we speak, now we have a whole bouquet of products that we can sell. So we are hoping our sales will be, 2,000-3,000 crores a year as we move. But we are now developing light tanks, we are developing infantry combat vehicles, we are developing unmanned vehicles.
This is your real passion, isn't it? The defense side is your real passion, isn't it?
I don't do anything else. I mean, everything else I let
He loves, this is purely his passion and his foresight.
It's more than passion. How I got into this? I got into this with a pure nationalistic feeling. A country like ours, for 75 years, couldn't make an artillery gun. It's a shame. I told our guys, no, let's make one. And I'm happy that last 15th of August, our guns did the 21 gun salute in Red Fort.
Yes. Speaking of aspiration, I think one of the things that will go down as a significant milestone of your stewardship of the group has been the decision to take the group global.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember speaking with you many years ago, and you said that we are one of India's first truly multinational companies.
Absolutely.
And how hard has that journey been for you? And now, from the vantage point that you're at today, what is the global aspiration? I mean, where do you see yourself playing?
See, when we made the decision to go global, we decided that the best way, many companies were doing global, but they were doing aftermarket sales in Africa and the Middle East, etc. We didn't want to do that. We didn't have any aftermarket sales. We said, I want to sell to an OEM. I want to sell to a Mercedes-Benz. I want to sell to an Audi. I want to sell to a General Motors or to Ford in their country. So that was the aspiration. And that was tough, you know, because I don't think in the 90s, any of the German companies believed that any company in India had the capability to sell them critical components in an automobile.
So it's been a hard-fought battle.
Yes, but today we have a very, very large market share, one of the largest in the world in these components with most of these companies. And the future is the biggest opportunity that we see, as Amit said, everybody has got a plan for transitioning to their mobility business to EVs or to something other than IC engine. So that's going to create a lot of empty spaces in the world. And I think companies like us, we're not the only ones, companies like us will fill a lot of those empty spaces and generate some huge amount of growth.
A large chunk of your strategy has also been driven by acquisitions, and you've done many acquisitions over the course of the past several decades. Is that going to continue to be a driver?
So I think going forward, acquisitions will be very selective. They will be in technology domains, but we will make acquisitions in India, because in India, for us to scale up manufacturing capability, bandwidth, technology, and know-how will be the easiest way for us to kickstart our growth in new sectors.
On the mobility side or outside of
This
it?
is in the whole manufacturing gamut. If you look at the acquisitions we have made in the casting business, we acquired 2 foundries with 3 plants in Coimbatore. And we are going to make similar acquisitions because this will give us a head start in growing our business. These are all industries where we see huge opportunity for business to shift, especially from Europe. China plus one will help. And India is going to be competitive in these sectors. So I think these are opportunities that are going to give us tremendous opportunities for growth.
Where do you see the specific gaps that you want to plug by way of acquisitions today? You talked about the foundries that you acquired in Coimbatore. Anything on the anvil at this point in time? Any specific gaps that you intend to plug?
We continue to look at areas. So the one thing I will say is that we will acquire businesses that are high quality and well run. We will not buy businesses that are in distress. If we are buying businesses that are in distress, then it's a pure asset deal. That will be in sectors where asset is important rather than the customer book or the capability. But largely for Bharat Forge, it will be well-run companies with a good track record, customer base, and ability to produce complex products.
Speaking of the 5 verticals that Amit listed out for us, which will drive growth for the group going forward. As you look at the advantages that you enjoy today, as you look at the moats that you've been able to create for yourself, what gives you the most confidence in being able to, from here on, I mean, you said 20,000 crores maybe by next year or the year after that. What's the aspiration from then on?
See, I mean, if you look at India's economy today, we are a little less than $4 trillion, some 3.7 or something. And the aspiration for India as a country is to take this close to 30 trillion. So we should look at our growth in relation to the growth of the country. The country is going to grow 8 times, then we should be growing 10 times in that year. And it's not a long period, it's a 25-year period. I have already crossed 52 years in this company, struggling. So I think we have a base that can allow some explosive growth as the country grows. So this is number one. Number two, we are also developing technologies that are our own. So we are not dependent on technologies from elsewhere. And the beauty of the defense technologies is not just one technology you develop. You have
platform technology.
Yeah, you have platform technology, you have metals, you have machining, you have specialized technology for ordnance making, you have
sensors,
embedded systems, you have sensors, you have AI in it, you have computer control systems which you make yourselves.
Closed loop.
So there are very few people who do all this themselves. The Israelis pride themselves because they are able to do all this. The Americans do it themselves. The French do it themselves. Koreans do it themselves, but there are no other countries who do it themselves. So it's huge.
So how are you gearing up for this explosive growth opportunity that that Mr. Kalyani just spoke about? What are we going to see you re-engineer within the group, within the organization, on the people front, on the digitization front, on the process front, on the capex front as well?
So what we've done is create the 5 verticals, because we need to give them sharp focus and sharp market focus. Second is we've built businesses into horizons, Horizon 1 and Horizon 2. So even within defense, we've got products that are Horizon 1, products that are Horizon 2. Horizon 2 is where we need to do more development, where we need to create more technology and integrate more technology into the products. So we have bespoke engineering within the verticals, and then we have horizontals of engineering within the whole enterprise. So we've created a matrix capability where we're able to leverage capability from one vertical to the other, but also create deep focus and domain within each vertical as well. Because that's how we are going to get products out. We are going to go from components to subsystems to systems to products. And that's really the...
So as you move up the value chain, the margins would also be more attractive and more accretive.
Yes, that is, it's not just margins, but it's also your competition reduces. Because you're doing things that...
less people can do.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. So eventually, plans to take any of these verticals public, listing at some point over the next few years?
See, I foresee that each vertical will be a standalone business. Now, whether they get listed or not depends on their size, scale, and whether their cycles and their businesses require capital, or they require the capital markets to get the reflection of the true valuation.
What would you like to see happen on that front?
There are some businesses that will grow faster than the others, there's no doubt. For example, I think the defense business will go faster than most other verticals. And there might be a time in the next few years where that business will be bigger than our core business. Because, it also uses our core business technologies, like metal forming, forging, machining, etc. So, that's a great possibility. And if that happens, it would be better off as an independent company.
So next 3 to 5 years, you believe that perhaps you could be at that inflection point for the defense business?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
So, I want to understand from you this...
Just yesterday, I heard an announcement by the Defense Secretary on television, matter of fact, that 45% of...
That was on our channel.
Yeah, 45% of the orders would be now to private sector.
Yeah.
That's great news.
Yeah.
So, India's defense budget is pretty huge. And if you say 45% of that to the private sector has, 4.5 players.
Yes, with clear leadership that you want to sort of take forward in this space. But I want to understand from you, you've seen this manufacturing story for India with all of its constraints and all of its ups and downs play out over the last 5 decades. By all accounts, from most people that we've spoken to, this now seems to be the decade where Indian manufacturing is ready or poised for takeoff. Do you believe that is the case? And where do you finally think this story is going to be? We've been talking about this 22% share of GDP for years now.
I've been talking about it from Manmohan Singh's time.
Exactly.
No, but I think it's ready to take off. I think all credit to Prime Minister Modi and his team for the policies that they have put into place. Those policies are really working. The most important thing is, every Indian believes the story of India now. Every Indian believes that it's time for India to become a developed country. And this belief has come from the kind of changes that the government has made, the kind of changes that the Prime Minister has been able to evolve through policy and policy parameters. And I'll give you 2 examples, simple examples. Today, BYD as a company has overtaken Tesla in electric vehicles. Why? It has overtaken Tesla in electric vehicles for one simple reason, that they make everything in-house.
And their government has created a policy.
And tremendous support from the government. And they are going to take, at this rate, they will be the biggest car company in the world in the next 10 years. Now, one would have thought it to be a Mercedes, Audi, General Motors, or XYZ.
Yeah.
But it's probably going to be BYD. Now, you wait for some India's BYD to come. Somebody will come.
Could that somebody be you? At least as far as
We are a component player, not a vehicle guy.
But I'm saying that if Sajjan Jindal is now looking at getting into the mobility business via a joint venture with MG Motors, you've got investments in EV companies. Where do you see that? I mean, do you intend to just be passive investors in some of these companies, or what's
We are
the
not a
story?
passive investor in anything we do. We have done that to learn technology, to leapfrog time, and to get access to certain products which will be usable both here and to be part of their global supply chains. So it's a two-way trade.
See, Shereen, even today, we can make electric trucks. We actually have some 15 running on the road. But there are still some missing pieces of the puzzle that we have to put together. And the timing is not right. The timing will come when the volume of EVs gets to a certain critical level. I mean, today volume of EVs, except two-wheelers where the volume is high, in four-wheelers the volume is not
We haven't
that
reached
great.
the inflection point.
No, nowhere close to that. Nowhere close to that.
The inflection point needs a price parity to come.
Because
Exactly.
this is a business which requires large investments. So instead of making large investments upfront in setting up plants, we are investing small amounts in creating the people bandwidth, the technology bandwidth, and creating all the technical solutions that are required for this.
Well, speaking about the future, 75, 52 here at Bharat Forge. Are you now planning to sort of step back? Any plans at this point in time, or are you still
You were asked
raring
this
to
young
go?
man.
The young man has a say, does he?
Yeah, of course. I am ready to step back and go on a holiday somewhere.
So what's stopping you? He's stopping you.
I think my father is happiest when he's here. This is his first love, and I think we're all deeply motivated by him, by his passion for what he does, and the energy he brings and the ideas. The whole defense business has been his baby, and I think it keeps him young, it keeps him active, and I hope that he keeps doing this because he has so much to give back to our company, to the country, and to teach a lot of young people new things.
Well, so no plans at this point in time to step back?
Well, the day I think I don't enjoy it, that day I'm gone.